The scandal broke before dawn, whispered across newsrooms like a tremor. A Montana rancher may be holding the key to a billion-dollar fraud empire. Cameras were rolling before anyone understood the depth of it. But inside the drafty meeting hall of the Whispering Winds foreclosure sale, Chris Rivers stood alone with the weight of something he hadn't meant to uncover. Third-person narration tightens around him like a lens. Dust drifted in the morning light. Metal chairs scraped. Bidders mumbled with the cold cynicism of people watching another family lose everything. Chris kept his hat low, hands shoved in the pockets of his denim jacket, trying to look like a man doing a simple kindness for abandoned animals, not a man about to collide with power. He found the stall by accident, tucked behind a broken partition. The smell hit first: damp wood, old leather, neglect. Then the eyes, sunken, amber, impossibly alert. The horse lifted his head like a fallen king recognizing one last loyal subject. Old Red. The name scribbled in chalk like a shrug. The auctioneer's voice cracked through the hall, impatient, dismissive. Starting at 100. Any interest? Any at all? Silence. A reporter, half bored, half curious, typed pathetic old stallion into her notes. Chris raised his hand. A ripple of faint surprise passed through the room. Not admiration, just a brief pause, as if everyone wondered why he bothered. But Fred Hoffman's reaction was different. He stiffened, jaw tightening, eyes flicking not at Chris but toward the far doorway, where two men in tailored coats watched with an alertness that didn't fit the room. Chris felt it then, a quiet shift in the air, like stepping on ground that wasn't supposed to move. Fred stepped close, voice low, trembling. "You don't know what you just bought, son." Chris swallowed. "Then tell me." Fred glanced at the men again, as one whispered into his phone. "Not here," Fred murmured. "And not while they're watching." Outside, the wind cut through the silence. News crews re-angled their cameras. The men in coats followed. Chris tightened his grip on the lead rope, unaware that the stallion behind him had just made him the most dangerous witness in a crime no one was supposed to survive. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead as the room fell into a tense, courtroom quiet stillness. Agent Diana Reeves hadn't raised her voice. She didn't need to. Her presence alone redirected the entire air in the barn office, folding the threat Olivia Turner carried back onto itself like a blade turned inward. Chris watched from behind the agents, breathing slow through his nose, trying to steady the tremor he felt in his wrists. Old Red, Crimson Dynasty, nickered from the adjoining stall, sensing the human tension with eerie precision. Outside, the first camera crews were already arriving. A young reporter whispered into her mic, eyes wide, as if the frost on the Montana air wasn't from winter, but from proximity to something historic. Sources say the FBI has intervened in what may be a multi-state fraud operation involving elite performance horses. Inside, Olivia Turner pressed her manicured nails into her palm, a flicker of panic crossing her face as two SWAT officers relieved her bodyguards of their weapons. She recovered quickly, too quickly, and smoothed her blazer as though preparing for a deposition rather than federal detainment. "Agent Reeves," she breathed, leaning forward, "you have no idea what you're involving yourself in." Reeves didn't blink. "That's where you're wrong, Miss Turner. We know exactly what we're stepping into. The question is whether you want to walk out of this building cooperating or in cuffs." For the first time, Olivia hesitated. A crack in the corporate armor. Chris swallowed hard as he noticed something. An unmarked black SUV cresting the hill, moving slow, deliberate, headlights cutting a clean spear of white through the dusk. Reeves followed his stare, and her jaw tightened. "That's not one of ours," she murmured. Silence thickened. The SUV rolled to a stop. A door opened, and a man stepped out, face hidden by shadow. The silhouette paused beside the SUV, the wind flattening his coat against a frame built on power and practiced intimidation. When he finally stepped into the barn's floodlight, the room reacted as one body. Agents shifting stances, Chris instinctively bracing, Olivia Turner going paper pale. Victor Andrews. The billionaire moved with the deliberate calm of a man accustomed to walking into crises he had created and leaving untouched. His eyes swept the scene, federal agents, confiscated weapons, the stallion breathing heavily behind the wall, and a slow, chilling smile formed. "Agent Reeves," he said, voice smooth as polished steel. You seem to be trespassing on private business. Reeves didn't move. Your private business involves smuggling, insurance fraud, and at least 2 suspicious deaths. You shouldn't be anywhere near this investigation. Andrews stepped closer, ignoring her. His gaze locked onto Chris, studying him, dissecting him, the way a hawk studies a grounded animal. You're the rancher. A statement, not a question. The one with inconvenient integrity. Chris held his ground, though his fingers twitched at his sides. I'm the one who found what you tried to bury. A brief, electric silence. Then Andrews exhaled a quiet, almost pitying laugh. You don't understand what that horse represents. What he's worth. What people have already done to keep this contained. His voice sharpened. And what they're still willing to do. Reeves stepped between them. Mr. Andrews, you're obstructing a federal. He raised a hand, cutting her off. Not with authority, but with confidence so absolute it felt rehearsed. You think you have evidence, he said. You think you have protection. His eyes flicked to the stall, to the shadow of Crimson Dynasty. But you don't, Andrews murmured. Not anymore. A single gunshot cracked the night, and the lights went out.